Hi, folks. Hope you are okay. We're just going to talk a little bit about the riots in Northern Ireland in uh, Ballymena, that little town in Northern Ireland, not far from Belfast. I'm going to talk about that just for a minute and why is it happening? What are the implications? Um, First of all, the blame for those riots should fall squarely, utterly squarely to the politicians and those in power. They have been reckless with the Irish community, but also not only the Irish community, but also the general British community as well. Um, it is totally reckless to say that you have no control of the borders. So we are constantly being flooded with people from France over the channel, and then Northern Ireland's being flooded from by those people that have come into Ireland because of the European Union, and then flooded into Northern Ireland from Ireland. And this is absolute recklessness. To have no control of your border is absolutely, totally reckless. And the tragedy is that those in power know that it's reckless and don't seem to care. And they're happy for turmoil, social upheaval to take place. And the reason why they're happy about that is because they want to collapse the the nation state. They want to overwhelm the the social order with mass immigration. You see, even today, you can't get a doctor's appointment when you used to. Years ago, you could just go see your doctor when you wanted. Now, you can't get your doctor's appointment. And what's that telling you? It's telling you that mass immigration is is putting strain upon the infrastructure in Britain, and not only in Britain, but in Ireland, in France, in Germany, and all throughout the European Union. And there's a purpose in it because they want to crash the economies of those nation states. And the way to do it, this was stated by two professors at Harvard. Two professors at Harvard made it clear that the way to bring a nation to its knees is to allow mass immigration, which puts strain on the social services, which then will even affect the middle class, and the middle class will then panic. They're also being targeted and finding it difficult to pay their mortgage and to get on with life. And so the whole point is when there is a total collapse, they cry out to the state, and then the state come in and say, well, you will have a social credit system, we'll have a digital ID, and we won't have Britain and Europe anymore. We'll have a one world order. That's what they're aiming to do. They're aiming to collapse British society. They're aiming to collapse Irish society, and the immigration is not going to stop. They're going to continue to do it because they have no respect for the sovereignty of each nation. And my evidence for that is quite clearly there is no respect for the border. There's no respect for the Irish border. There's no respect for the Northern Ireland border. There's no respect for the British border. There's no respect for the French border. There's no respect for the German border. There's no respect for the Dutch border. So my thesis that they're trying to collapse Western society with mass immigration is absolutely correct. It's there for everybody to see. So then, when the infrastructure collapses, um, they will then say, well, in order for you to survive, we need to go digital. We need to get rid of a cashless society. We need to have digital ID, and what that means is they control everything you do, and that's all they want to do. They want to control everything. Now they've calculated that you're going to get violent, you're going to get angry, and they're happy with that. And the reason why they're happy with that is they'll just throw you into prison and say you're far right, and then they will use it to bring in more draconian laws. Oh, we need to bring in more draconian laws. We need to um, have laws where we can spy on you, where we can open your mail and things like that. And if you think I'm exaggerating, the Prime Minister of Canada recently is trying to bring in a bill where it does exactly that, where they say they want to strengthen the border, but within the legislation in Canada, they're going to have the power to open your mail. You can't transfer a certain amount of money. So it's not an exaggeration of what I'm saying. There's factual information there. And then on top of that, you've got Starmer, who was recently, the last couple of days, stopped by the High Court where he wanted to make it illegal to question immigration and that you would get 10 years in prison. So my thesis is there. That thesis has meat on the bone. It has solid evidence. They want to collapse Western society. They want to destroy the sovereignty of each nation with mass immigration. And they have calculated that you'll rise up violently, but that will give them the extra ammunition they need to make even more draconian laws and to put more people in prison and to squash free speech, as we've seen with Colony, Lucy Colony. Um, so, what is the way forward? That's the reality. You're not dealing with people that are MPs and parliamentarians that are rational. You're not dealing with people that believe in the nation state. You're dealing with people who are globalists, who have no respect for Britain, who are MPs of Britain, who are MPs of Ireland, who are MPs of France and Germany. And these MPs, they have no respect for their nation states. They want to see them destroyed from within. They want to see them collapse. So that's your enemy. That's what you're facing. That's what you're up against. It's kind of like imagine you're in the Second World War, and imagine the Nazis were able to get MPs in UK and then to undermine the UK during the Second World War. That didn't happen, but imagine if it did happen. That's what you have in terms of the nation state. You have MPs who are treasonous. Countless MPs in the Parliament of Britain who are treasonous, who have no loyalty to Britain, no loyalty to the British flag, no loyalty to British sovereignty, who are actively undermining the British state by wanting the economy to collapse. If you don't believe me, when we just recently gave Mauritius away, we're paying £30 billion rent for an island that we owned. Now we're paying 30 million pounds as rent for an island that was ours anyway. Okay, that is a death wish to the nation. That's a death wish to British society. There's no desire to protect British society. There's no desire to protect British sovereignty and to do the best for Britain. It's just let Britain get destroyed. And that's just one example that I've just given you. So I hope that my thesis, I've fleshed it out, I've given you the evidence. Now the question is, what do we do about it? Well, first of all, you need to know who your enemy is. And your enemy is out to destroy your nation state. Our enemy is out to destroy Britain, period. Keir Starmer was asked once, he was asked this question: are you for Parliament or Davos? Davos is Klaus Schwab and the New World Order, that they want stakeholder capitalism, where they want the whole world to be one global conglomerate and there be no nation states. Starmer, our Prime Minister, was asked, are you for Davos or are you for Parliament? And he said clearly he is for Davos. He is a Prime Minister that took away the winter fuel allowance for pensioners. He is the Prime Minister that has been attacking the benefits of the disabled. He is a Prime Minister who put hundreds, if not thousands, of people in prison for free speech. He is the Prime Minister who resides over 12,000 people a year are being put are being arrested for Facebook or social media. Um, we have a prime minister that has been involved with Ukrainian, you know what, boys, and the media have backed him and not called him out on it. We have a prime minister that says one thing and does another thing. A prime minister that absolutely hates his own people, who would not encourage a report to be done, an inquiry to be done into the grooming gangs. But now, today, only recently, within the last day, has announced he wants an inquiry into the grooming gangs, which will not be a true inquiry. He's a prime minister who loves the hate crime laws, which are arbitrary, which which are not fair. Those hate crime laws are only there to silence any opposition. They're not fair in any shape or form. You can be arrested for praying outside an abortion clinic, and yet you have hundreds, if not thousands, of people who are pedophiles, rapists, being let out of prison recently so they could have more space for those that have been arrested for Facebook posts. So you can be arrested for praying outside an abortion clinic and get a heavy sentence or heavy fine. But if you are a rapist or a paedophile, you can be let out of prison far earlier than you should be. That's the prime minister that we're dealing with. That's the parliament that we're dealing with. And then we have reform come along. But what is reform? Reform is just what we call controlled opposition. Nigel Farage, sad to say, I thought maybe he'd be different, but he's just controlled opposition. He's part of the establishment. He doesn't want to say too much to upset the establishment. So he's part of the establishment. The major political parties are tanking. Nobody respects them anymore. Nobody wants to vote for them anymore. They've lost all their integrity. The media have lost their integrity. Nobody trusts the media anymore. They're at an all-time, they're at an all-time low. Nobody trusts the establishment anymore. So that is our enemy. Our enemy wants to control us and completely destroy us. So how do we go forward from here? Well, first of all, we have to be willing to speak out. They are going to they during COVID-19, the Prime Minister of Canada, who was at one time the head of the Bank of England, he was behind encouraging furlough in the UK, buying off the middle class, giving a bit of money for the middle class furlough so they'd stay in and not complain. But he also advised Trudeau in Canada to close the bank accounts, to cancel the bank accounts of the truckers and also anybody um, who would give money or support to the truckers. Lawfare. That is the enemy that you're up against. That lawfare was aimed at President Donald Trump. They tried to put him in prison for a long time. That lawfare has been aimed at Tommy Robinson. They've tried to put him in prison for a long time. Katie Hopkins and many more people they put in prison. They're using lawfare and they're going to use lawfare on you. But you've got to calculate. You've got to calculate, is your freedom worth more than what they're going to do to you? Because they're going to do everything they can to destroy you. There was a guy who in Ireland who complained about transgenderism, and the courts took £50,000 off him. That's the kind of enemy that you're up against. That's the kind of enemy that's come your way. They're going to destroy you. They're going to absolutely obliterate you if they can. Now, the question is, are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to make a stand? It can't just be on Tommy Robinson. It can't be on Katie Hopkins. We have to be willing to make a stand. We have to be willing to stick our neck out and say enough is enough. So first of all, I would encourage you to calculate what it's going to cost, and it might cost you even your life, because if you're put in prison and the grooming and the Muslim gangs get you, then you might lose your life. So If you don't believe me, Peter Lynch, look at what happened to him. He was put in prison. He couldn't cope with it, and he ended up committing suicide. But you've got to be willing to calculate, are you willing to pay the price? And there has to be more people that come forward and say, enough is enough, and to be willing to stick your neck out and speak the truth. And so we need more citizen journalists, people who are going around filming things and reporting on things in an honest way. And you'll be persecuted by the state, you'll be run down by the state. The state will even try to kill you by putting you in prison, knowing that you're going to get assassinated in prison. But the time is you've got to be willing to put your neck out. You've got to be willing to stand up for the truth. Because if we don't, then it's going to get 10 times worse in the future. So that's number one. We need courageous people who are willing to step out and pay the price for citizen journalism. Secondly, we need to all stand together. Everywhere, we have to stand together. If they take one of us down, we should stand up for others. We should be having marches right now for Lucy Connolly. She was put in prison. What she said was not good, but she shouldn't be put in prison for the length that she has. We should be all in solidarity throughout the UK and throughout Europe for her free speech. We should be making a stand for her. And when any one of us are taken down, we should all be willing to stand up for that one person. That's the second thing that needs to be done. Unity. There's too much backbiting, too much ego, too much, it's all about me. No, it's not about you. It's about the country. So there's been a lot of division amongst those who believe in free speech, those who believe in defending the rights of the nation. Well, you've got to stop. It's not about you. When you're in a battle, you've all got to get on. You can't be in a battle and be fighting each other. You need to be united. If you're not united, your enemy's going to take you down. So we have to be united. We have to stand together. We have to work together. Okay? This unity has to be absolutely rock solid, no matter what. So if you're united, they cannot break you. But if you are disunited, they can break you. So we have to be united. We have to be standing together and swallow your pride, swallow your ego. The movement is not built around you. It's not built about your particular group. It's about the nation. It's about the people of Britain. It's about them. It's not just about you, okay? So you have to stop being proud and and arguing with each other, but get together and be united. That's the second thing that needs to be done. The third thing that needs to be done, Christians need to meet and to be praying for God to step in. We are in a crisis. We are moving into a dark night of authoritarianism and communism in Britain. Without a shadow of a doubt, we have already moved into that dark time. The days of British democracy are over. We are not in a British democracy anymore. We are in a communist state, an authoritarian, fascist, communist state. That is where we are right now. That is the historical fact that we are in. The two-tier party system is a mirage. There's no such thing as a two-tier party. It's all one party. It's all run by the establishment, and reform is part of it. There is no real party that is going to represent you in Parliament. It's not going to happen, and it's not happened for a long time. That is the reality of where we are at. And because we are in a state of communism or fascism, we as Christians need to be praying. And we also need to be out active promoting the faith. Give Bibles to the prisons. Go to the prisons and do Bible studies. The prisons are infected by Islamic gangs. Get into the prisons. Get the Bibles there. Get the Bibles into the school. There has to be an onslaught of missionary activity like never done before. After the praying, there has to be the mission work of getting out there and sharing the word of God throughout the UK. And then finally, there has to be a willingness to pay the price for freedom. We are mollycoddled. We like our TikTok. We like our computers. We like the lifestyle that we have. But if Britain is to be free, there got to be some people that are willing to pay the ultimate price and are willing to give up their life. William Tyndale gave up his life for the Bible. He translated the Bible in English and he was killed for that. They killed him. They strangled him and then they burnt him alive. And I would ask everybody who listens to this that you need to sit at your kitchen table and to look at the clock on the wall and to look into the future and to realize, do you want Britain in the next 5, 10, 20, 30 years to be completely and utterly fascist like communist China? Or do you want a future for your children? If you want a future for your children, you're going to have to be willing to make the ultimate sacrifice and you're going to have to be willing to make a stand, even if they put you in prison and even if you lose your life and your blood is shed. People have to start thinking about that because democracy has gone. You're not going to get democratic representation anymore. It's over. They don't want it. The elites don't want it. They don't want you to have it, and you're not going to have it, and that's the end of it. And if you think that it's going to end this politically, you've got another thing coming. It's not going to end politically. The only way this is going to end is the British people rise up and say enough is enough. And that won't happen until you rise up and say enough is enough. And when you rise up and say it's enough, and the British people see that you're being persecuted, then the British people will begin to wake up. They're already waking up. They're already waking up. They're waking up. They've woke up about the media. They realize the media's corrupt. They've woke up about the politicians are corrupt. They're waking up, but they need to wake up faster and quicker and bigger than they are, and they need to wake up faster than they are, and they will do if more people are willing to step up and pay the price. This is not a time for cowards. This is not a time for selfishness. This is a time to put your neck on the block and say, I'm willing to give my life for my country. And if you're not willing to do that, then move, go to another country, go and live somewhere else. But if you're going to live in Britain, you got to be willing to defend Britain because politicians are not going to be coming to defend you and they're not going to be coming to give you your rights. They are rapidly taking away your rights as fast as you can speak. They are already maneuvering to take away your rights. They're already doing compulsory orders on houses to get your house so that they can put immigrants in. They're already doing compulsory order to people who own caravans, so they take your caravan so they can put migrants in. The days of you having your own home and thinking you have your own castle and that you have a democracy, those days are over. It's finished. Now you've got to ask yourself, what are you going to do? Are you going to flee to another country, or are you going to stand and make your stand for the rights not only of yourself but for your family and for the future generations of Britain? That is what is needed to say today. That is what is needed to say, and I'm saying it. That is what is needed to say, and I'm saying it. I'm going to give people the opportunity if anybody wants to come on and disagree or say whatever. But I'm just telling you the reality of where we're at. That's the reality. Let's not pussyfoot about. Let's not play games. If I'm in a street, right, and I'm walking down a street, and it's a dark night, and four guys with knives are coming down the street, right, and I know that they have knives, right? And I can't walk away. They're right on me now. They're coming, right? And people are in the community are saying, "Oh, these people are okay. They're nice. They'll give you a chance to let you walk past." No, they're not. They've got 4 knives, and they're going to use them, and they're going to kill me. What am I to do? We can flee and leave my street, and that would be a good option in some cases. But what about if I can't flee? What if I can't flee? I'm stuck now with these 4 guys. I have to defend myself. I have to make sure that these 4 guys do not pull out their knives and do not kill me. Your politicians, our politicians, they're out to destroy Britain. They're not out to play games. They're out to destroy the United Kingdom, and they're doing it step by step, bringing the country into absolute chaos. That's your enemy. So you can't play games with them. You can't sit on the fence with them. You've got to come out and say, enough is enough. I'm going to make my stand, or you've got to leave the country. But the idea that you can go on with your head down and hope that things are going to change with reform coming in or change with politics, it ain't going to happen, because your enemy is vicious and your enemy is out to completely, utterly destroy you. And if you don't understand that, then you're finished before you even start. God bless you. I've given you the... So in top and bottom of it, Ballymena is a little town that is feeling the full brunt of the insanity of the establishment, and they're wanting to collapse British society. And it's come on their doorstep, and they're feeling the heat of what that actually means in reality for their community. And their rising up has already been calculated by the politicians. They knew that the Irish people would rise up, and they're ready for it. They're going to clamp down on the Ballymena people. They're going to put a lot of them in prison. They're going to put a lot of Irish people in prison. They've already calculated it. That's your enemy. If that's your enemy, wake up. You got to start realizing that's your enemy. They're not going to play nice with you. They're going to silence you by cancelling your bank accounts. They're going to pass even more draconian laws if they can. That's where they're going with this. If that's where they're going, better to take the gloves off and say, okay, let's go for it, rather than play a long-term game. It ain't going to happen long-term. It ain't going to change. It's going to get worse. Better to take the gloves off and say, okay, enough's enough. Let's do it. Let's get on with this. That's what we have to do. It's got to say enough is enough. Do the Gandhi, do the Martin Luther King, whatever you have to do, but say enough's enough and take them on. Say that's it, we've had enough. Like the civil rights movement in the time, in the black civil rights movement in the time of the 1960s, Martin Luther King and the black civil rights people said enough's enough. That's it. Gandhi, when it was the colonialist, he said that's enough. And you've got to do the same. That's enough. We've had enough. You've got to take the establishment on and take them on at their own game. If you don't do that, it's over. It's over for Ireland. It's over for the United Kingdom. It's over for France. It's over for Germany. It's over. It's done. They've won. So you've got to do the Gandhi style. You've got to do the Martin Luther King style and say enough is enough. That's it. I'm taking you on. That's what the women did to get the vote. Pankhurst and all that. They said enough's enough. We're not having it. And they took the establishment on. That's what you have to do. That's what we have to do. Enough is enough. We're not having it anymore. We're taking you on and we're bringing you down. And you do the Gandhi, Pankhurst, Martin Luther King shuffle. And that's the end of it. You take the gloves off and you play hardball with them. If you don't play hardball with them, let them beat you in the street. Let them beat you with batons. Stand there, united, singing hymns, singing songs, lighting candles. Let them beat you. And when they beat you, like they beat the Black Civil Rights Movement, the public will come on your side and the government will collapse. That's what happened in Romania when the Romanian government collapsed. And that's what will happen to these Western governments and this establishment. They will collapse. If you do that, you link arms, you light candles at night, sit there, sing songs, let them come and beat you with batons, and you'll see these governments collapse before your very eyes. You have to take them on. You have to say enough is enough. If you don't do that, and you can continue to react in a violent way and get upset, they're just going to make more laws to take you down. That's what's going to happen. So there we are. I've said what I had to say. No surrender, no surrender, no surrender. Please share this video. It can help a lot of people. And the link is there if you want to come on. Ballymena, what needs to be done in Portadown and in all of Ireland, you come out at night, you fly your Irish flags, you light the candles for every person that's been raped, for every person that has been attacked. You light your candles, you sing your songs of freedom, and let the police come and hit you, let the police come and batten you. But you stand there and you light those candles and you honor those victims and watch the government collapse before your very eyes when the public come on your side. Because you've taken the government on. You said enough's enough. We're having our rights. They will collapse. Make no bones about it. But it needs to be. You take the gloves off and you take them on. Your enemy is 3 steps ahead of you. You need to be 3 steps with your enemy. You need to be 3 steps ahead of your enemy. And the enemy, the elites and the globalists, they're 3 steps ahead of you. They know how you're going to react. They know what you're going to do. Well, outmaneuver them. Outmaneuver them. And be 3 steps ahead of them. And that is by the Martin Luther King, the Gandhi, and Pankhurst shuffle. And they'll collapse. Okay? Take care and God bless you. If anybody wants to come in and say anything, I put a link there if you disagree or agree. But until you take the gloves off, I'm not saying to be violent, but I'm saying until you take the gloves off and be determined to bring the governments down, and you bring them down by doing what Gandhi did or Martin Luther King did, until you're determined to do that or what Pankhurst did, then this is going to continue to get worse and your freedoms will go forever. Simple as that. And as for Christians, so many Christians are silent. So many Christians are keeping their head down. You're a bunch of cowards. You're a bunch of cowards. As you watch our country slide into totalitarianism, you're sitting back and you're doing nothing. And yet it's good to sing praises and worship. Amen. And it's good to preach the gospel. But also you've got to be willing. When you see freedom being taken away, you've got to be willing to stand up for those whose freedoms are being taken away. It's not enough to keep silent. It's not enough when people are being put in prison unfairly and you're not saying anything. That's not right. That's not godly. That's not Christian. When people are being locked up just for a Facebook post, that's not godly. That's not Christian when you're not willing to say anything. So there we are. I've given you my opinion. If you want to see change in the United Kingdom or Ireland, what I'm telling you will bring change. If you turn to the Lord and you do it His way, it will bring change. Okay, God bless you. Love to everybody out there. May God be with you all and take care.